Nova is here, he's the leader of Alpha, leading the charge. Yeah. With his main man Heavy, hit up right by, hit his side at the raid. Together they fight, the gods that corner, rich and valor, fighting for good. They refuse to back down in this war for justice. They wear the crown. Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust. For the cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly underground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. Through shadows of doubt, they light up the way. With power and purpose, they seize every day. Their enemy tremble in the dark. Nova and Heavy Hitter, our heroes embark in the big Gatsby that's covered by night. They bring the fire and ammunition to ignite. For it's Alpha they serve, their honor was true. Nova and Heavy Hitter, they rise from the dust. Fighting for the cause, they never back down. With Big Boy Leroy, his feet firmly on the ground. In the face of danger, they fight through it all. Champions of hope, they rise to the top. For every shadow, they bring the light. Nova and Alpha, defenders of the right.
Hey kids, this is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco Studios in my mom's basement, and it is story time right now. Rings of Dust story time. I'm just posting this right now on the Twitters, the YouTube link, and of course the X link. There we go. And I'm going to put this in our Telegram as well. So we just finished chapter 22, which needed a lot of restructuring. Some stuff was in the wrong place. So now we're on to chapter 23. However, something that should have been in chapter 19 wasn't covered. So we're actually going to jump back to chapter 19, and then we are going to jump to 23. So we'll see if this works. We'll see if this is in the right space at all. Oh my gosh, you can see my hoodie obsession and the obsession of my family to make candy for raves. Hang on. There we go. Pay no attention to what's inside the closet. Yeah, so let's share the screen right here. And I'll put myself down here in the corner. Nobody puts Pulse Ray Vision in the corner except for Pulse Ray. So here we go. This is the one right here. I think we got to go back to 19 though. So I don't know why this is called Vance and the Black Site, because 19 should be Vance and the Black Site, but we'll jump into this and then we'll do reading. And then we got a double feature. I'm going to go live on today's updates. We're very close to a rollover. End of round 3 is already upon us. So I'm going to go to TTS ready, which is text to speak ready. Come down here to chapter 19, the secret site. And this should have Vance going to the secret site before Emily. So here we go, kids. We get a little sip of coconut water. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, chapter 19, the secret site. Vance adjusted his sunglasses against the glare of the midday sun. He yanked them off with one hand and steered with his knee as he cleared the lenses with his shirt. $400 and a smear like a gas station pair. He put them back on. I think there's a better way to say that right there. Let's change this to $400, and they still smeared like gas station sunglasses. A little smoother. He put them back on. The AC was set to max, and he kept the window down anyway. He felt claustrophobic with it up. The desert spread out in every direction, mountains dimly visible through the haze. After what felt like too many miles of dirt road, the road stopped being a road. He pulled up to what looked like a partially demolished drive-in movie theater. Chain link fence around the property, cruel-looking razor wire along the top. A single brand-new guardhouse with fresh coat of white paint sat near the gate, completely out of place in the wreckage around it. The guard that emerged from it was equally out of place. Well-groomed, pressed uniform, rifle leveled at the windshield before Vance had fully stopped. "Turn around, sir." Vance shoved his badge out the window. "Vance Black, operations. They should have called ahead about me." "Get out of the car. Hands where I can see them." He complied, both hands up, badge in his left. The guard kept the rifle on him and came around the front of the truck. On the ground, hands flat. The rocky desert floor was scorching, sand and grit and a particular quality of heat that had been building since before dawn. Vance laid himself prone and spread out his limbs. Sand got into his mouth. The guard pulled his arms behind his back and cuffed them. "This is for your safety, sir." Vance coughed out wet grit. "Appreciate the warm welcome. Nothing like eating dirt to feel at home." The guard checked the badge, jerked him to his feet, went to the gatehouse, and picked up a phone. A brief exchange. He came back out. "You can enter on foot." "What do I do with the truck?" "I'll take care of it, sir." "Where do I go from here?" The guard motioned to a cement structure that had once been a concession stand, graffiti along the sides, the roof partially gone. "Go in there and get yourself a soda." Vance looked at the building and back at the guard. "You're serious?" The guard stared at him. With his hands still cuffed behind his back, Vance tilted his head toward them. The guard looked genuinely irritated at the implication. "Of course, sir." He removed the cuffs. Vance cradled his wrists. "Thanks, Rambo." The guard raised the rifle again, leveled and pleasant. "No problem, sir. You have yourself a fine day." The concession stand smelled like dry ketchup and old oil from the hot dog rollers, a smell that had been baking in the desert heat long enough to become the smell of the building itself. Barren shelves, advertisements for brands that no longer existed. At the far left, a beverage dispenser on a dusty corner with a stack of styrofoam cups beside it. Vance set up a cup under it. A small amount of thick liquid dripped from one of the faucets. He sniffed it, threw the cup in the nearest garbage can. A click from a door to his right, stenciled on it, "Supplies, now open." He went through. The stairwell was narrow, cement walls on both sides. An iron handrail bolted onto the right wall that he decided not to touch. 100 steps down, the smell shifting from hot dust to cold mold. The light from above thinning and then gone. At the bottom, another door. With the keycard reader, he placed his badge against it, read twice, then green. The door opened. A guard on the other side, standing at rigid attention. Vance waved. No reaction. The man stood as still as furniture. The hallway behind him was long and circular. A metal grid pathway running the length of the floor. At the far end, another door with a sign. Vance started walking. Each step sent a metallic echo clanging through the corridor, doubling and returning. The overhead lights were spaced at regular intervals, and the ceiling between them was dark. He noticed the machine gun turret mounted above the entrance when he was almost directly under it. Subtle. At the far end, yet another keycard reader. He swiped. The heavy door unlocked. On the other side, a young female military clerk sat working through a stack of papers. Cabinets lined the cement wall behind her. 2 well-lit curved tunnels led left and right from the room. She looked up. "Hall of Records, what are you looking for today, Mr. Black?" polite, no warmth. Files and research belonging to Dr. Stephen Conrad. She arose. One moment, please. Wait here. She turned to the cabinets, opened a drawer of old reference cards, walked her fingers through the yellow stack for a long time, found the one she needed, traced along it, pulled a thin folder from a separate cabinet, and brought it to the counter. It landed with a soft plop on the laminate. Vance opened it. Thin. Conference programs. A copy of Conrad's keynote abstract from the Vegas Energy Summit. A birth certificate, and beneath it, a death certificate heavily redacted except for the cause of death. Suicide. The certificate was dated 3 weeks after Conrad's appearance. Pre-filed, unsigned cover story Alpha had prepared and not yet needed to use. The kind of document you keep in a drawer in case someone comes looking and needs to stop looking. He looked up. I need more than this. I need to see what was in storage. I'm looking for his research. The Gracie architecture, Iris design notes. She cocked her head. That won't be possible. I don't think you understand, she said. His vault was emptied last month. I got to use the right word. I got the right voice here. Let's try that again. She cocked her head. That won't be possible. I don't think you understand, she said. This vault was emptied last month. Vance looked up from the folder. How is that possible? By whom? I don't even have to look that one up. She didn't look it up. It was transferred by several trucks with the Alpha Corp emblem on the sides. These files are all that's left. Would you like me to make a copy for you? Who authorized the transfer? Federation Representative Rachel Vase. Vance set down the folder. He looked around the room, the curved tunnels, the cabinets, the clerk with her stack of papers, and looked back at her and held himself very still. Okay, so Rachel Vase is not a Federation representative. This should say Alpha Ambassador Rachel Vase, because she doesn't work for the Federation. Okay, he held himself very still. You have got to be kidding me. He drove north for 30 minutes before he pulled over on the shoulder of the road and sat with the engine running and the window down. The desert ran flat in every direction. No mountains now, just scrub and rock and the specific quality of silence that exists in places where nothing is expected to happen. Glenn had the answer for everything. That had always been the problem with men like Taylor Glenn. They never asked the right questions. Vance had spent 8 years asking the right questions and getting nowhere. Today, he was going to ask one more. Rachel Vase. He'd been following her public work for 3 years, Alpha's preferred correspondent. The voice they sent when they needed the shortage to sound like an engineering problem rather than a choice. He'd never once thought of her as a threat to his side of the ledger. He had not known that she had a Federation liaison designation. She didn't, you idiot. He had not known that she had access to a facility DeMint didn't know existed. Yeah, go through the entire book and make sure that Rachel Vase is listed as a spokeswoman for Alpha Corp. First, she was a news anchor, but she is a media type, but mostly she's a spokesperson for Alpha Corp. At least that's what people think. He thought about what it meant that DeMint hadn't known. He thought about the trucks with the Alpha Corp emblem on the sides and the specific kind of operation it takes to move a vault's worth of materials through a Federation facility without anyone in the Federation being told. He thought about the 8 years and who had known about this facility and who had sent him here and who had not. He drove south. He made a phone call. Marcus picked up on the second ring. Okay, we've actually taken this out 8 times. 1 second. Hey, dipshit. We've removed this sentence about 8 times. He does not call Marcus before he shows up. All right, thanks for your patience. Now, we've read this part. Emily was on the dirt road at 6:22. She had not been awake for 4, and there's somewhere here where she passes him. Sharon, Victorville, mile. Yeah, about a mile in, a truck came the other way, big, dusty, moving fast for a single-lane dirt road. Emily pulled his shoulder. The driver had one hand on the wheel and was looking at the road ahead with the focused expression of someone who had already gotten what he came for, which appeared to be nothing. The truck passed without slowing. The dust it left behind took a long time to settle. So there it is. That's Vance passing Emily, and that's what we should have read in chapter 19. Okay. Gone from everywhere, committing, pushed. Still have the Rachel Vase sweep to finish. Several instances need the Federation liaison language and chaired the Federation Resource Ethics Committee fixed. Yeah, that's all garbage. Want me to continue that now? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to jump ahead to chapter 23, which is actually the reading here, but this is pertinent to that chapter because they do have a split in between them where we see Emily's crazy transformation and then this right here in chapter 23. So we'll go back up. We'll go to TTS ready. Scroll down to 23. Not sure how big of a chapter this is and if there'll be 1 or 2 parts. Ooh, it's a pretty big chapter. Yeah, it's a pretty big chapter. Okay, so chapter 23, Vance and the Black Site. Okay, hang on. Top floor. So I think the Black Site should be the title for chapter 19, since that's when both people are at the Black Site. And I think chapter 23 should have a different title because this is not about Vance at the Black Site on 23. All right, Rings of Dust, chapter 23, the top floor. Vance sat in the parking lot of Alpha Corp's Los Angeles tower for 23 minutes before he went in. That part mattered. Not to Marcus, not to Alpha Corp, to nobody who would be in that room. But he sat there, and before he went in, he thought about the 100 steps down into the dark, the mold smell, the clerk's face when she said his vault was empty last month, with the specific neutrality of someone who understood that the paperwork was more interesting than the people in it. He thought about Dement's face on the day he'd taken the assignment, the specific quality of a man who trusts the wrong person in the right way for the wrong reasons. He thought about 8 years, what they'd been for and whether any of it counted. He decided it did. He went in. The facade was dark glass and flat panels, the rest of the building unlit. The windows on the top floor beamed like a lighthouse. Vance pushed through the front doors, nodded to the night security on his way through, and rode the elevator to the top. The doors opened into Marcus's office. Okay, they didn't. Dumb shit. Hang on, sorry. Let me fix this. No, they don't open into Marcus's office. Read the previous chapter where Emily and Rachel go into into the office and make that coincide and match this scene. The television wall was running, dozens of screens, difference of feeds, the reflected light flickering in patterns across the face of a man in the chair. The chair was enormous, swiveled face, the screens, tall, backed, the kind of chair that was not quite a throne because Marcus had enough taste not to need a throne. but that communicated everything a throne would have communicated. He did not turn when Vance came in. How was the desert? Marcus said. Vance stopped. He'd calibrated on the drive back for several versions of this conversation. He'd not calibrated for Marcus already knowing. You know why I went. I know why you went. I know what you found. Marcus still had not turned. I know you went in a car. You signed out under your own name. Well, he went in a truck, dipshit. I know you spent 11 minutes in the Hall of Records. Hey, dipshit. It was a truck. I know you spent 11 minutes in the Hall of Records. I know what the clerk said to you. Pause. I know you called DeMint's office from the drive back and were told he wasn't available. Vance did not move. The vault was emptied last month. Your trucks. My trucks, Marcus agreed, as though confirming a minor point. The IRS work is gone. Conrad's prototype research is gone. 8 years of sealed pre-production records. Vance took 2 steps towards the desk. I know what that equipment was for, and I know what it can do to the crew on that ship. I have a court-martial argument that makes yours and Alpha's. I have a court-martial argument that makes yours and Alpha's. What does this sentence mean? I can build a case of what's already in the public record. I don't need the vault. Since when, Marcus said, do you make the decisions for me? He turned. He was not angry. He was not theatrical. He was the version of Marcus that people who only knew the public version of Marcus never saw. The version that did not perform because he did not need to. The television light moved across his face in slow patterns. You were very useful, he said, for a long time. A man in Vance Black's position at Vance Black's access level who brings me the right information at the right time, there is real value in that. He set his elbows on the desk. But useful is a condition, and conditional things are not permanent. Vince said, you have a problem. The compound's effect on the crew are going to surface before Saturn. If Cole Nova is going to die at Saturn. The room was very quiet. Vance said nothing. The mission is not to harvest Dark X, Marcus said. The mission ends with the Golden Dawn going dark at Saturn's rings. Taylor knows his job. The crew serves the job until the job is done. Cole Nova serves the job by dying in it neatly, in a way that closes the file on the Polaris and adds a very sympathetic paragraph to 2 decades of energy research that, as of the rapture, belong exclusively to Alpha Corp. Okay, first I've got to feed this 18-line sentence to get fixed, and then I'm going to go strangle a couple of dogs. Chop this up, make it shorter, make it flow. There's no reason to have these ridiculously long sentences. Do better. All right, well, I guess whatever the dogs are barking at has either died or killed them. After the rapture, the ring plane seals. Whatever is inside those rings, when the closure completes, stays inside them. Unreachable, uninvestigable. Like you can't investigate it. Replace this stupid word. For the better part of a generation, the Golden Dawn goes dark inside a crime scene that cannot be independently examined for 20 years. He said it the way he said everything dangerous, without volume, without ceremony, with the specific unhurriedness of a man who had thought about this on many evenings and was confident in the arithmetic. You know this. You have known most of this for 2 years. What changed? Vance said, Conrad. A pause. Conrad's dead. I don't think he is. Vance moved to the edge of the desk. I think he got something out before Alpha picked him up. I think that whatever he got out is on that ship, and I think The reason your vault got cleaned out is that someone in your structure doesn't want me to find out what Conrad's prototype can do to Iris when it's close enough to Dark X. Marcus looked at him for a long moment. Then he smiled. Just slightly. Just at the corners. The way a man smiles when he realizes the problem is going to be simpler than he thought. I appreciate the hypothesis, he said. I'm not done. Pull out your phone, Vance. Excuse me? Your phone. Pull it out. Vance did not reach for his phone. He heard the sound instead. The specific mechanical click of a revolver's hammer being drawn back under a desk. Not dramatic, not announced. Just a sound. And then the understanding of what it meant. He braced himself. He had known somewhere below his working knowledge of how this would go that there was a version of this conversation that ended here. He had decided in the parking lot before he came in that knowing that was not sufficient reason not to come in. To not come in. Marcus took aim at the center of his chest and squeezed the trigger once. The shot came fast, without preface, in the middle of a sentence Vance had been thinking about completing. He doubled over. His legs gave way. The floor came up to meet him, and he let it. The filing cabinet was very solid against his back. The ceiling tiles were an inoffensive beige, the choice of someone who had never had to look at them. Marcus stood and came around the desk. He looked at Vance with an expression that was not satisfaction. It was not grief. It was something close to mild professional curiosity. You were going to keep being right, Marcus said. That's the unfortunate part. Vance looked up at him. He had, in the last several seconds, arrived at a specific clarity that he understood would not last. You have no soul, he said. It was not an accusation. It was a statement of fact. The fact, in this moment, was not satisfying, but it was accurate, and he had always preferred accurate. Marcus set the revolver to Vance's forehead and pulled the trigger once more. Yeah. Okay, let's see how long we're going right now. Yeah, this is about a half an hour, so we're going to cut this and make this part one. Good evening, Crypto Cat. Good evening. And then I'm going to finish this right here, wrap it up. If you guys want to know more about this story, Rings of Dust and the cryptocurrency project, Anti-Gravity Project, go to agproject.io down here and go to our Telegram, t.me/antigravity saga. And there's some really cool games and cryptocurrency stuff going on there. So thanks again for catching. We'll catch you on the next one. And we'll catch you on live stream in just a couple minutes.
Yeah. Check the charts. It's a bloody scene. Thanks and Pulse Chain. You know exactly what I mean. From the peak we plummeted, down 99%. The Bears took control with funds were all spent. Sacrificed our pulse, we believed in the dream. Now we're holding these bags of soap. It would seem the SEC came knocking. Tried to build a case, said we were a scam. Tried to put us down, richer than the court, fighting for the crown. But we're still strong, yeah. We ain't going away. Through the darkest night, we wait for the day. The Bears are growling, but we hold the line. Text, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, destined to shine. The fools are sleeping, but they'll soon awake. For the communities are waiting, for the fortune they will make. Yeah. Buddha has been spreading, fear's been in the air. Whales were exited, leaving us in despair. Price hit the bottom, some thought we never climbed. To the bear market, a brutal long time. We watched the value dwindle, watched the hope fade. But the core believers, the plans we already made. We staked our tokens, we played the long game. Through the pain and the doubt, we remain the same. The news has been grim, the futures look bleak, but the Hexagon spirit is on the take. But we're still standing, we ain't going away. Through the darkest night, we wait for the day. The Bears are growling, but we hold the line. Text, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, listen to sign. The fools for the fortunes they were made. A gavel will drop, a victory will see the case undone. Forget the set, a new dawn coming. The clouds will clear, the future's bright, the path is clear, the bears won't last. It's only a fade, the bull is coming. Through the coming days, the sacrifices made will soon be repaid. When the market turns and the price is relayed, so hold your thanks, don't you dare sell low. The next leg up is about to. Well, we're still standing, we ain't going away. Through the darkest night, you wait for the day. The bells are grounding, but we hold the line. Hex, pulse, chain, all sex, destined to shine. Love fools are working, they're starting to thrive. For the community to wait, for the fortunes they will make. Yeah. Better believe